Bad news for the Beehive. This just in, Beyoncé announced that she will not perform at Coachella in April. Queen Bee, pregnant with twins, decided not to perform following the advice of her doctors, she said in a statement to the Associated Press. However, as she taught us, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Fans will be able to see her back on stage at Coachella in 2018. In the meanwhile, Radiohead and Kendrick Lamar are still set to headline this year's show.
Roll out the red carpet and grab the popcorn because the 89th Annual Academy Awards are on this Sunday. But don't worry if you haven't yet watched all the films. Our reporter, Brandon Gomez, has everything you need to know.
2016 was a year of dynamic films, and here's what you need to know about this year's nominees for Best Picture.
There are days that define your story beyond your life, like the day they arrived.
In Arrival, Amy Adams plays a linguistics professor who is called in to communicate with an alien race after they land on Earth.
Now that's a proper introduction.
Wait, Corey. I want him to help me with this fence.
He got recruited by a college football team.
It ain't gonna get him nowhere.
Fences features the story of a black man unable to pursue his dreams of playing professional baseball and how this affects his relationship with his family.
Some people build fences to keep people out, and other people build fences to keep people in.
What the hell was your delay, Captain?
We're waiting, sir.
In Hacksaw Ridge, Private Dawson, a U.S. combat medic during World War II, refuses to carry weapons. He is forced to defend his values. But in the line of fire, Dawson uses his medical background to save his fellow soldiers.
I'm gonna get you home. Banks loaned the least they could so they could swipe your mama's land.
It's a big bank.
Hell or High Water follows two brothers who rob a bank that is trying to foreclose on their family land.
Tetra Jim.
I've never seen a mind like the one your daughter has. You have to see what she becomes.
Hidden Figures is the true story of African-American women working for NASA in the 1960s, highlighting their success despite a racist and sexist system.
Just on our way to work at NASA, sir.
I had no idea they hired.
There are quite a few women working in the space program.
La La Land, nominated for a record 14 awards, is a romantic musical movie following two struggling LA artists as they bump into each other again and again and again.
It's pretty strange that we keep running into each other.
Maybe it means something.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Let's start with where you're from.
Calcutta.
Which part?
I'm adopted. I'm not really Indian.
Lion, starring Dev Patel, is the story of an adopted boy who travels back to India in order to sift through his memories and piece together his forgotten past.
If it was between me and your father, who would you take?
My daddy.
I don't think you're wrong about that.
Manchester by the Sea follows a man who mourns the loss of his brother and has to look after his teenage nephew after the boy's father dies. And last but not least,
What's you looking at me like that for?
Moonlight is a contemporary portrait of identity following an African-American man at 3 different stages of his life, struggling to find home in his community. This is Brandon Gomez reporting for NYU Now.
We are now joined by Brandon Gomez, who will give us the inside scoop on predicted Oscar wins. Welcome, Brandon. How are you?
Good. It's good to be on.
Good. So, what are the predicted wins for this year's ceremony?
So this year, they're really saying that La La Land might either sweep or take a lot of the awards. I mean, they're nominated for a record 14 awards, which ties with the Titanic and All About Eve. But they're saying that they predict that La La Land will win Best Picture. I mean, other predictions: Denzel Washington for Best Actor in Fences, as well as Emma Stone for La La Land. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens.
We'll definitely see. What else should we be looking for in the show?
So this year is actually Meryl Streep's 20th nomination. So we'll see if she can take it in that category. Although, like I said, Emma Stone is the projected win for that. Also, another thing to keep an eye out for is Lin-Manuel Miranda. He needs just the Oscar to complete the EGOT, which is coveted by so few. So Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. So if he gets the Oscar, he'll be joining the ranks as an EGOT recipient.
That's impressive. Thank you, Brendan.
Yeah, of course.
That's all for NYU Tonight. I'm Ayenat Mersie.
And I am Simone Somekh. Join us again next week for another edition of NYU Now. Good night, everybody.